What
It
did
was
Rabbi
really,
Bass? What did he? What was his input about the class to you, Mike? What was Rabbi? What was he always telling you
well,
how to teach the material, or what material you should teach, or was it just
here's,
something that you put together with
so
him?
here, I will delve into the mind of the genius of the late, great Rabbi Bakst. He comes from the brother of the Gaon of Vilna. Now, the Gaon of Vilna was the one that sent, commissioned by Hashem, that sent the first settlers to resettle the nation of Israel, which was the secret of Messiah ben Joseph. And he was the Messiah ben Joseph of his day. And Rabbi Bakst was the 8th generation grandson of this line of tzaddiks, pure genius guys. And that line is what established what we know today as modern day Israel. And that they established the first yeshiva ever. So in Israel, that was their deal. They were the first ones. And so he always told me this: what I'm teaching you, most people aren't going to understand, most people aren't going to know, but you're looking for 1 in 1,000. There is a piece in the Kol HaTorah where it says the one becomes the 1,000. It's based upon 999, the formula 999, which is the gematria of Messiah ben Joseph and Messiah ben David, is 999. When you get to 1,000, you're at completion. Adam was supposed to live 1,000 years, but he saw David was going to be stillborn, and so he gave him 70 years of his life. Adam did. So Adam lived 930, and King David, died on his birthday, 70 years to the day. 930 and 70 is 1,000. And he said, Solomon always said, I'm looking for 1 in 1,000. He says, so when you teach, don't expect to have hundreds of thousands of people. You're not going to get it, because that's not what you're going to teach. You're looking for 1 in 1,000. And so as a teacher, you want everyone to understand and grasp the concepts of everything you're teaching. And then you have to tell yourself that's not going to happen. And so when somebody gets it, when the light bulb comes on, it's the greatest thing as a teacher you can possibly want, is to somebody goes, oh man, that was awesome. That was, but our class is not that class. Our class is that for some people.
Yeah,
One of the things, Mike, is the story that I got is early on, and a lot of people were watching, the classes and stuff like that, and they were saying, why, Russell, why are you having us watch this class? Why are you having us do this? We don't understand anything that's being said, and it's and this was discussing talking with Rabbi Bakst. And I said, we shouldn't be worried about knowing what he said. We should be trying to figure out what he's thinking and how he thinks. And that was the key. And years later, after that, he told me, he said, when I was teaching this very same class he was talking about, he said, I was teaching this in order to teach you how to think. And one of the greatest things he did was teach us how to think and how to reason and look at all of the text and everything and these sources and what did he call it, a Yiddish cup, and have that Jewish mindset, and I think that's one of the biggest gifts that he gave us that helps us go on today and study now that he's passed.
Yeah, I think being part of just the oral transmission is, that's an amazing part for me, because there's nobody else doing that. As far as a non-Jew.
And that is a crucial part of the lineage of Torah. And after Rabbi Bakst's passing last Sukkot, I got a call, and I'm not going to mention the guy's name, but he's a very renowned Kabbalist in Jerusalem. He's one of the big guys, and he told me, I was looking for the specific book, and I'm not going to go into which book it was because most people don't have it, and most people don't need to have it. And I was able to get it, and he goes, "What do you want this for?" Because it's a very powerful book. And I said, I just want it for knowledge and for to learn stuff in it. He goes, I will tell you this. He goes, you can have the book, and you can teach certain things from the book, but and I've only taught one thing from the book. And he goes, but we will grant you the ability to teach what you're teaching because you come from a living transmission from Sinai. Because the Torah is taught from teacher to student, all the way back to Moses. And it's all documented in Torah. And they can trace every teacher that they have all the way back. And one of the biggest honors that I've ever had in my life was when this great rabbinic sage told me that you come from the living transmission. How many non-Jews can say that? And I'm not patting myself on the back.
You're the only one I know of.
I'm just saying it's what happened. And so Rabbi Bakst, what his desire was to teach the nations the truth, was to give the Torah over to the non-Jew, to teach them the truth, to teach them the secrets of the Torah. And one of the reasons I started videotaping my earlier classes that are not even out there was because I knew, to use the cliche, I had lightning in a bottle. Coming out of Christianity, having all the questions, knowing the New Testament front and back, I knew it. I know it as good as anybody, even to this day. And even teaching and preaching and all that stuff in the Christian church, and then making this transition, I knew I had lightning in a bottle. And I knew that if I didn't start making a video documenting a video library, instead of just having notes, I got piles of notes. I've got boxes of notes from Rabbi Bakst. It would make the most epic book of Kabbalah you've ever seen in your life. And because I wanted, if something ever happened to me, and something will eventually happen to me, I wanted my children and my children's children to be able to look back and say, what did Dad know? What did Grandpa teach? What is the truth? What is the real Torah? And so I started doing that for about 3 years. And then Russell was like, hey, man, we need to put this out. Everybody needs to hear this stuff. And that's how it started, The first thing Rabbi Bakst ever taught me was Metatron. We spent years on it. And of course, Metatron is everything. So when you're learning Metatron, you're learning the entire Torah. I mean, who starts out with that?
Right.
That was the most amazing Educational experience. We didn't, and then I got into well, let's look at Noah. How did Noah get everybody on the ark? Well, let's look at Goliath. How did David kill Goliath? Let's, all the little stories, we'll call them nursery rhyme stories that you grew up hearing. You wanted to know what the real story was. But he said, until you understand Metatron, we cannot go any further. And, that is a rabbinic mind like I've never encountered to this day.